Do you like the concept of farming? Raising animals, planting and taking care of crops? Do you want to have your own farm but you don't have the money or motivation to do so? If you said no, I agree with you. Why go outside and literally touch grass when you could just throw Harvest Moon DS inside of your DS? In fact, let's do that right now.
Starting off, we stray from the usual Harvest Moon formula. You still get to name yourself, farm, dog, as well as your cat. But it seems you already own the farm instead of inheriting it or taking on the debt to help save the town, as in previous entries such as Harvest Moon 64 and Harvest Moon Save the Homeland respectively. The story starts with the Harvest Goddess and the Witch Princess duking it out at the beach. Apparently, the Witch Princess isn't too fond of the Harvest Goddess's habit of exclaiming, "Ta-da!" every time she shows up, so the Witch Princess turns her to stone and sends the Harvest Goddess and almost all the Harvest Sprites to the Shadow Realm. Whoopsie, this was not the spell's intended effects, and now it's our job to get all the sprites back from whatever world they are in so we can bring the Harvest Goddess back. I played a ton of this as a kid, and I was very pleased to see that this game shares the setting with Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, that taking place in Forget-Me-Not Valley. If you've played A Wonderful Life, then you can expect the same lovable character designs from that entry here, now in beautiful 2D sprite form. We start the game up and immediately have access to a variety of tools that are going to be essential to our farm's upkeep, as well as its expansion. We get a sickle, a hammer, an axe, watering can, pedometer, a hoe, some seeds, and a necklace. Equip the necklace. As I usually do with the game in this series, I start off by clearing up a small plot of land to start my turnips. I tend to ignore the inhabitants of the valley when I first start off in order to gather up as much natural resources as I possibly can in order to maximize my income for the day. A plethora of wild herbs and bamboo shoots. Once I'm done gathering my wares, it's time to start stocking up on resources. Chopping up wood and busting down stones grants you building material, which we're gonna need in abundance in order to start building additions to our farm, such as a barn to hold our livestock and a coop to house our feathered friends, which we'll acquire later on. Okay, maybe I could spare a little bit of time for a little flirting. And did I just give her 17 flowers? Wow, I must really like Celia. You're gonna have to talk to your interest every day in order to get married. Interacting with the world around you can yield some very interesting results, such as recovering a missing Harvest Sprite or having the Witch Princess appear in order to hand you a gift. After a few days of wondering when I was going to be able to purchase some more seeds, I was finally able to get my hands on some strawberries and some cucumbers for the farm. I almost passed out from the exhaustion due to selling off all my herbs and having no consumables at my disposal to replenish my stamina. Luckily, it rained the next day, so I could focus solely on gathering building materials and interacting with the locals. After a bit of gathering wood and stone, I decided to hit the dig site and do a little archaeologist work with my trusty hoe. I got a bottle of sunscreen, a brooch that apparently makes girls happy, and many a bag of loot. Had to eat a couple of my finds due to my stamina being dangerously low. I decided to sell off my sunscreen and keep the brooch for Celia. Hopefully it's her thing. There's tons of events that happen at certain times of the day which offer multiple choice dialogue. You might not get the intended effect, and this affects your relationship with the people involved in the cutscene during an event. I actually care about what results I get, so to avoid any struggle or hardship, I save every morning. It's important to save. The last thing you're going to want to do is have to reset and replay several in-game days, maybe weeks, because of an unwanted reaction from one of the villagers, or goddess forbid you upset the person you're wooing and ruin days of gifts and constant interaction. Eventually, I got into a routine I could follow religiously. Water crops, forage, dig, talk to Celia, buy crops, plant those crops if they're needed, ship items, sleep, repeat. That's the plan until I get a few animals on the farm. I got a bit curious and decided to see what would happen if I threw a stick in my pond, for no other reason than being a man who wanted to see a big splash. Apparently, this is something you need to do in order to finish the game, and no, I'm not joking, I actually rescued a Harvest Sprite with this action. I managed to fire up my camera at the second this happened so I can prove that such an oddity does indeed occur in HMDS. I bought a satchel for apple seeds to plant a tree, as well as bananas, hoping the continuous fruit in the appropriate months would help me accumulate wealth. Not knowing how they worked, I still attempted to grow them, thinking it was like planting any other seed. It wasn't. I wasted the seeds, and thousands of gold spent on said seeds. Remember when I said you really want to save after every day? Well, I didn't follow my own advice, and luckily I caught it on camera. I thought I'd be able to just load my save, and I'd be good. What a fool I was to think I saved. It's kind of a good thing that I messed up too, because something rather interesting happened while I was replaying the game. I ended up buying the seeds the day before instead of on the 7th, and I got an interesting cutscene with this old chap trying to talk to my crush Celia over here, asking her questions and such. I would be worried if he was competition, but I'm pretty sure we can all see he doesn't stand a chance against the man in the blue hat, baby. Also, I gave her a birthday gift, so I think I'm ahead. She doesn't know that it's from the dig site, but it's all good. She doesn't need to know. Wink. Once again, I used the rain to my advantage and decided to plant my crops today as well as my trees. This time, taking precautions to not waste the expensive seeds. Looks like I needed 4 spots and not just 1.
Success!
Decided to give Celia the brooch today. She liked it, so I considered that a
Success!
I think the path itself is used for multiplayer stuff, but since I don't have friends due to me playing with big meaty claws, I'll have to settle with just getting the sprite. Hit the hay in the morning, I save. I end up freeing a couple sprites from watering crops and chopping wood. Building materials were taking up inventory space, so I built a lumber and stone shed. Now that that's taken care of, we can start saving stone for our coop. After a long day's work, I decided to go to the bar for a drink or 6, and I ended up becoming an alcoholic, as well as bringing back a harvest sprite from the Shadow Realm during the festivities. Eventually, summer came around, and all my crops withered, and were no longer in any shape to produce crops, so on to new ones. I got some trees planted, tons of different fruits, such as grapes, apples, peaches, bananas, and oranges. Grapes grow on vines, not on trees, but in this game, they're grape trees. I'm not gonna argue, let's go with it. I also replaced all my dead crops with corn. After getting all this set up, I started foraging for all the new herbs and fruit around the valley. I have so much corn to water that I'm now forced to keep some of the herbs in order to ease fatigue, as my stamina is not enough to water them all. I find a van, a traveling merchant, and I purchase myself a much needed TV, as well as a DVD and DVD player. Nice! He's also got some rather useful items. Did I call van a van? Or the van? I don't know, but van is a person's name, it is not a vehicle. This video turned from a review to a let's play kind of, but let me know what you thought. Is it interesting? Just let me know if I can improve on my videos. Thanks for checking it out. Have a good day or night, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye, and stay peachy.